Hello, everybody. My name is John Menzies. If those of you who have just joined, I'm the marketing manager here at Abbey College Cambridge, and today's session is a virtual tour of Abbey College Cambridge. The tour itself should last about half an hour, and at the end of the session, there'll also be the opportunity to ask any questions. So please do feel free to post any questions in the chat or the Q&A function there, and then we'll do our best to answer those at the end of the session. Okay, so if the Wi-Fi does drop out, if anything, if we have any reception issues, just hang on the webinar and it will reconnect very soon. Sometimes when I walk between the boarding, for example, in the stairwells where we have lots of concrete and lots of wiring, sometimes the Wi-Fi does drop out, but just hang on the call and we'll be there in a moment. Excellent. Okay, so this is the main reception area of the college. You can see our reception team over there, just welcoming a visitor. This is the main entrance to the school for students who live off campus. And students will check in at our reception desk. Behind the reception desk here, we also have a medical centre. So we have a college matron who looks after our students when they're not feeling very well, keeps any medication. And obviously we sign students up with local healthcare providers. And we have lots of first aid trained members of staff. We'll head through to our hall. You can probably hear there's lots of activities going on at the moment. At the moment, we are actually setting up, as I'm sure some of you can tell, for a concert that is going to take place very soon. So we have a concert on Friday where some of our students are going to be performing to each other. So this is the hall. We use this for lots and lots of different activities, clubs. We obviously do assemblies in here as well. We use it for some basic sports, things like badminton, table tennis. We have dance classes as well. And you can see just as we go along, just into the main area of the college, you can see some of our awards and trophies from students from recent years and our house cup. So you can see the red house at the moment are our house champions. The house system, let me just flip the camera around. So the house system, essentially when students join us, they become a member of one of 7 houses. They're color coded, obviously. You can probably tell I'm in the greenhouse by my green lanyard. They have animals, mascots, so I'm a lion, and they're named after Greek and Roman gods. So the idea with the house system is it just provides a smaller community within the school that students can join, become part of, and it's based on where students live. So we have a number of boarding houses. The majority of our students as an international school are from outside of the UK. So we put students together in the boarding houses based on their age and based on the course that they're studying. And then they become members of one of those houses based upon that. So the idea is it's what we call their peer group. We have personal tutors and tutor groups are all based in that. All the house parents and tutors are also in the same house. So we're just building that smaller community and also organising lots of house activities, competitions where students can earn house points. It just encourages them to take part in school life. Sorry if there's a bit of background noise. We're just doing a lot of activities. As you can imagine, it's a busy Wednesday morning here in the school. So flip this around. So just heading down the corridor towards the main reception area of the house, you can just see some pictures from our graduation, which is another event that we have in the hall. So every year we celebrate our students' achievements. We dress up in the gowns and the mortarboards, and we have a lovely ceremony to help our students to graduate. And you can also see some of our academic results from this year as well. So our GCSE results. So about a quarter of the students achieving the top grade, A star, and almost half achieving A star. Our foundation program, which is very, very strong, our one-year course. So you can see some of the average scores across our pathways. And obviously our A-level program, which is the main program that students will take here. And you can see year on year, we're achieving about 60% A star to A grades, which enables our students to access some of the top universities, both in the UK and overseas. Around about 60 to 80% of our students are attending a top 20 ranked UK university every year. And you can also just see some pictures of the final part of our graduation ceremony where the students toss their hats up in the air. And these students are now studying at UK universities. Some are studying in places like the US, Australia as well, but the majority are studying on university courses here in the UK. Okay, heading down the corridor. We'll do our best just to pop out into the courtyard so you can see the school. quite a sunny morning here today in Cambridge, so we're quite lucky. But that's where we teach subjects like business, economics, accounting, psychology, our humanities, geography, English literature, and also biology up the top there as well. We have a small gym here on the left-hand side for students to use, a quiet study space straight ahead. So it's a nice space where students can go in and study in a quiet environment. This is our on-campus boarding. So we have 4 boarding houses. This is Abbey House. So we prioritise this for our younger students, usually aged between 14 and 16 years. And we're going to pop up and have a look at one of the rooms there. We have 2 off-campus boarding houses. I'll try and show you as we walk up the stairs later. But literally just behind the hall here, we have Purbeck House, which is of students aged 17 plus, and then Tripos Court just beyond that. And we have another boarding house called Orchard House, which will be opening in January, which is about 1 kilometre away from the school. So you can see block A as we head on there. This is the larger of the 2 teaching blocks. And this is where we teach subjects like art, physics, maths, chemistry, and also English language. So let's pop back inside and have a little look down the corridor. So you might just be able to make out ahead of us. This is a common room. So a common room is a social space for students to relax in when they're not studying. So you can see there are some games in there, some books, and that's just a nice social space for students to use. And heading down towards our dining room. Just going to check to make sure we've got lots of participants attending. Everyone can hear me. I'm presuming you can. Do let me know if you can't. Okay, so just close that up. So we're going to head down into the dining room. For our students, the majority are boarders, so they live with us. So they have breakfast, lunch and dinner 3 days a week. You can also see, just as we go in, some of the recent activities we've had within the boarding houses. These have taken place over this term, some welcome activities. Obviously, when the weather was a bit warmer, we're able to get outside and use some of the outdoor spaces, bowling, trips within Cambridge as part of the Welcome Week. So there's a lot going on for students to get involved in outside of their lessons. Alongside extracurricular activities, we have about 50 different weekly clubs that students can get involved in. Okay, so we'll pop into the dining room. Okay, so this is our dining room. As you can see, it's a little down here about 11 o'clock for their break, having lots of teas and coffees, but at the moment it's quite quiet. And you can see the guys are just getting ready for the lunch service. So all our meals are prepared here. We use fresh ingredients. It's designed to be nutritious, healthy, fresh meals. For lunch, for example, we always have, I'm just going to check the question I've got. We do serve a halal menu, Sharifa. So all our dishes are halal, and we can cater for any dietary requirements that we receive as well when students apply for us. So just let us know if there are any special dietary requirements, and we can make sure we're catering for that. So the meals are provided, everything is prepared fresh. You can actually just see some of the lunch services getting ready, some of the guys preparing. And this is where the lunch dishes will be. And some of the sides, so we have pasta, rice, noodles, vegetables. Desserts will be served here. You can actually see some of the little desserts pots just getting ready to be put out. Fresh fruit and vegetables every day, and also a salad bar. So this will be full of fresh salad as well for students. Let me just flip this around. So we prepare 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast is like a buffet, similar to what you'd have in a hotel. So fruit, cereals, toast, pastries, hot and cold cooked meats, yogurts, tea, coffee, juices. Lunch, we always have 2 main meat dishes, 1 vegetarian dish. We have a soups or broths to start with, and then sides, which are things like the pasta, the vegetables, the rice, and then desserts as well. For dinner, it's very similar. So we have 2 main meat options for students, 1 vegetarian option. The difference is for lunch, we have to get everyone through within 50 minutes. So we have 2 lunch servings because we have about 400 students in the school, whereas breakfast and dinner, we have kind of an open slot for a couple of hours. So students can come down a little bit earlier or a little bit later. You can probably just see from the size of the lunch, the dining room, it's nice and spacious. We can get about 200 students here at any one time. Okay, so we're just going to pop down a little bit. You can see there are some outdoor areas, so students can take their meals outside if the weather is nice. And just at the end here, we also have a little coffee bar. So this is open outside of the main dining times. So students can come and grab a snack, grab a drink, or they can, if they don't like any of the hot options, swap their hot meal for no extra charge for a sandwich, a wrap, or a panini. So everything is prepared fresh here as well. You can see some of the options here for students over lunch that are available. We also have snack pots and things like soft drinks as well. We serve teas, coffees, hot chocolates, different drinks, cakes, and some treats. Students would need to pay an additional fee if they wanted a coffee. You can probably just see the menu there. But students would make payments using their card. So we don't use cash, they just use their student ID card, which would look like this, and they can use that to top up and make payments. All their meals, so the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, if they live within our boarding house, are provided with their tuition, with their boarding fee. Excellent. So we're just going to head into the boarding house now. The boarding house I'm going to show you guys today is Abbey House because it's our on-campus house. I have a room which I can show you to give you an idea of the standard. It's not occupied at the moment. When I'm walking in the boarding house, especially up the stairs, we may lose reception very, very quickly. So do bear with me if that happens. It should re-establish as soon as I get out of the stairs, but just so you're warned. Just one thing to note as we go down. Each boarding house is segregated by gender. So we have girls' floors and boys' floors. We're on the ground floor here. We also have laundry. Wash and dry. They don't pay any extra for that. They have a laundry day, which they might be a Tuesday, but we do expect students to come down and do their own laundry. We want to give our students a little bit more responsibility, a little bit more independence. We want to create a little bit more of an adult environment for our students because we want to mirror the environment they're going to be in university. We want to prepare them well academically and personally, and we want them to be successful at university and beyond. So it sounds silly, but we want them to have these skills. So the house parents will help them if they need help, but students do their own laundry. Okay, we're just going to head up through the stairwells. This is where we may lose some reception, so just bear with me. Try to show you the other boarding house. So you can see the hall where we've just come from, where we were preparing for the concert, and the building just behind that, that is Purbeck House. So we are now in our on-campus accommodation. Off-campus is just across the road here. So you can see, even if you're off-campus, you're not very far away from the school. The college is located about 2 kilometres from the main city centre here in Cambridge. And we're about a 10-minute walk from the main train station. So it's a nice quiet environment. We're down a private road here. So as you can see, we don't have too much traffic back and forth during the day. Okay, let's go and have a look at one of our rooms. Okay, just checking we've still got everyone here. Excellent, hopefully everyone can hear me. So we're now up on the first floor. And you can probably tell this is a girls' floor. So all the rooms, there's about 25 rooms on this floor, are for girls, and only the girls who live here can access these rooms. This is the same in all of our boarding houses, regardless of age. Also, you've probably noticed, I'm just going to flip it on me. You've probably noticed there are no students here walking through the corridors, or there shouldn't be anyway, unless they've got special dispensation to be back in the boarding. That's because we're in the school day. So during the school day, students are only allowed to remain in the school. They can't come back to their room. When the school day finishes, usually around about 4 o'clock, sometimes a little bit earlier, they can come back to their room. But we just want to make sure when students are at school, they are fully concentrated on their lessons and ready for their next lessons. They're not coming back and forth between their rooms. So that's the same rule in all of our boarding houses and regardless of age. Okay, just going to flip back to the front view. Okay, so we have a room just down this corridor. It's a single room. The vast majority of our students live in their own room. We do have some twin rooms. But like I say, the vast majority are single room. We also have study spaces. So these study space. So it's a nice little space where they can come and relax, socialize and study. And we like students to have their own, have communal spaces. So we also have a common room for students, which is more of a kitchen area, which I'm going to show you in a little bit as well. It's really nice to have your own room, but also it's really important to be able to gather with your friends and hang out together. So we have these spaces that allow students to do that. And quite a lot of our clubs will also be run out of some of these rooms as well. So you can actually probably just tell the kind of Greek urn. This is where we do our classics club, which is one of our extracurricular programs. Okay. So we just have a room here. I'm just going to check no one's in. Shouldn't be. And then we'll pop in and have a look. Okay. Okay, so this is a standard single room, so about the average size. As you can see, it's not unoccupied at the moment, but it's a little bit bare. But usually this would have posters and obviously students' belongings in. Students have a single bed. We provide fresh linen, which you can see here, which is replaced once a week. We also provide fresh towels for students, which again are replaced once a week. And our team will also come in and clean the room once a week. There is a study desk, which the boarding house has separate Wi-Fi, so students can do their work here, also contact home and use social media. It does cut off in the evenings in line with the curfew when we expect students to be back in their room and back in bed, so they can't be up all night on social media or gaming. A little clipboard there so students can post any information, and obviously our boarding team puts some information up there for students coming in. And you can see as well, we have a nice view out to the rear of the campus, just overlooking Homerton College there. It's very bright, so I won't shine too much. The windows can be opened to get some fresh air. You can probably just hear the noise outside as well. Hopefully when we shut this, we hear that we have really good soundproofing. Also, everything is triple glazed. We keep the room temperature around about 20 degrees. There are filter blinds, so students can wind those down and filter out the sun if they're working. And then these are blackout curtains as well. So hopefully I'll give you a good demonstration of how I make the room nice and dark. Obviously at night, it gets dark about 3 or 4 o'clock here in the UK at the moment. So not too much of an issue, but it's nice to have to get a good night's sleep. Underneath this bed, you can lift this up and store your cases. So there's good storage there. There's overbed storage and also a reading lamp as well. We have clothes storage in these wardrobes and also a small safe. So students can store any belongings, any personal items in there. They don't need cash in the school, but obviously if they have any cash, any personal items, they can keep them in there and know that they're nice and safe and secure. And each room is en suite, so students have their own bathroom. So we'll just pop in. So you can see we have a toilet, sink, and a shower. And again, this is cleaned once a week for the students. Okay. So we'll just pop out and have a look in the common room. You can see some students really go to town with decorating their doors and decorating their rooms. So Lena's room is very well decorated. And we're just going to head down a little bit and pop in the common room, and then we'll go and have a look at some of the classroom spaces. Going to check there's no questions. I think I've got a question, sorry. Okay, curfew time. Let me just pop into the call and we'll answer that question. So this is the common room for the girls on this floor. So it's shared by about 20 students. And you can see there's lots of things to keep them entertained, TVs, PlayStations, games, and also some basic cooking facilities in here as well. Just to answer that question on the curfew in real time. So the curfew depends on the student's age and the boarding house they're in. Obviously a 14-year-old student, the curfew time would be a little bit earlier than say a 17 or 18-year-old student. But students' curfew time ranges from about 10 o'clock. So we expect them to be back in the room and in bed to about 11 o'clock for our older students. But we also expect them to be back in their room. So they wouldn't be out in the city, for example. At that time, we expect them to be back into the college by about 9 o'clock at night. So I can give you the specifics breakdown by age if you'd like, but that gives you an idea. So all students are back in bed, asleep by 11 o'clock at the latest. Okay. So just having a quick look, so you can see, so there's some basic food cooking here. Remember, these are younger students here, so we don't give them hobs and things like that, and all their meals are provided. But our catering team will put fresh fruit and snacks, tea, coffee, toast, so they can help themselves to whatever they want, really. And the house parent also organises this room, so this common room. So it's designed to have anything that the student wants and needs. So you can see there's information up there. The students are requesting what food they want. Different information about our house parents. I talked about the laundry rota, the menus, which rotate on a weekly basis. And we organise quite a lot of events within the common rooms and around the school itself. We call these huddles. So once a week, all the girls on this floor, say 25 girls, will get together. Maybe they'll have a games night, maybe they'll watch a movie, maybe it's a pizza night. But the idea is it's just designed to get everyone together who's on this floor, to make sure they're interacting together, to make sure they're building friendships, and just to make sure that they're enjoying their time here. It's really important that we help our students settle in, feel safe, secure, feel welcome in the UK. As an international school, the majority of our students are living outside of their home country for the first time. So it's really important that we have a really good view on how they are getting on. We would call it pastorally, but how they are getting on in their life. Are they building good friendships? Are they comfortable? Are they able to contact home? Do they have good food? Do they have good Wi-Fi? And these are the building blocks which we can build the academics on. So this is the first thing that we need to take care of for our students when they come in. And we do a lot of work in this first term. So we're in the first term for our year 12 students or our year 10 students on just settling them and establishing them in the school and just getting them used to learning in the UK, the way we do things, but also building friendships. Okay. So we'll pop outside really quickly. See, I've got another question. I might just see if I can answer that again. Oh, it's the same one. Apologies. Please do feel free to keep posting the questions. I may not read them straight away just because I'm a one-man band, but I will come to them either eventually or during the Q&A at the end. So you can see some of the information on our house parents. We have over 40 house parents for our students. This is just some of them. And the house system. So you can see the different house masters. So when I talked about each house, so the head of house for my house, Juno, is Alison, who's also a biology teacher. And then the team who look after the students within this specific boarding house. So there's a high level of pastoral and academic care for each individual student. And the house parents will also be your contact if you're a parent, or even if you're an agent working on behalf of a parent, they are your contact with the student. So they will be providing regular reports. They'll be at the end of a phone and end of an email. If you want to come and visit us here in the UK, they'll be able to look after you. They'll be able to give you reports. They'll be able to welcome you to the school. And you can just see the information on the house parents who live in with our staff, live in with our students here in Abbey House, the head of house, Lewis, and our deputy head of house and our head of boarding. So we have a really strong team here who just look after the students. They don't teach, they just support the students outside of their lessons. Okay, so we're going to pop into the teaching spaces. So you can see, if you live in the boarding house here on campus, your walk to school is literally from there to here. Don't have any excuse for being late. Like I say, it's a secure boarding house, so only the students who live in each boarding house can access. And like I say, they can't access during the school day. So we're in lessons at the moment. The students are in their lessons and not in the boarding house. Okay, just going to flip this around. Okay, so you can see we're on the first floor here. You can probably tell we have art here. So this is where our art studio and art department are based. And we'll see if we can pop in a few classes. I don't want to disturb the teaching too much, so I probably won't talk too much, but I'll see if I can pop in and just have a quick look. Okay, so you can just see. Gorgeous. How are you going to do the whiskers? Lovely, well done. Love that. Oh, hello. Hello, sorry. I just thinking. Oh, okay, so that was one of our art classes taking place. You can see there. Art is actually quite a new subject for us. We're probably better known for science, mathematics, economics, business related subjects, but we have a really strong art department now, and we have many students who want to take art with subjects like physics or maths, maybe go into architecture, but also students who want to do design, interiors, fashion, even something like computer games design, anything visual as well. So this is where you'd be having your art lessons, and you saw Serena there just working with the students. A very different atmosphere, I would say, to any other class that you'll find here. And you can see some beautiful examples of artwork around. We really encourage students to take part in art, even if they're not studying it. So there are a lot of art clubs that students can take part in. And then for the art students themselves, we also have additional evening activities such as life drawing classes that they can take part in to enhance their portfolio and really make them attractive candidates to those top universities. Okay, so heading down, we've just come from art, and we're going to pop down a little bit different here. On the right, we have a physics lab. And then we also have some chemistry, so we teach some sciences here as well. We'll just see if we can pop in really quickly.
Which is half an hour. There's some questions in here, page number 9, using second law questions. You really will find it easy doing a diagram, drawing a diagram before you go ahead with those. And then I've just put an assignment on Teams as well for some exam questions for some homework. Next.
So you can see one of our physics classes there, and they're actually doing quite a lot of exam preparation. We're doing stage tests at the moment, which is where we test the students in their academic subjects, usually every 6 weeks formally, just so we can assess their progress. So obviously, if they're in the first year of A-level, they'll have these assessments just so we can judge their progress and offer any additional support. And obviously that would be a point where as parents, as agents, as guardians, you would be receiving regular reports as well. But we're just checking they're on progress for their target universities and target courses. We do baseline testing. So we test them when they first come in, also in their English, and we can just check against those kind of waypoints where we need to know where they need to be for, I don't know, Cambridge University or Warwick University to study business. So you can see Chris was just doing some work to help them prepare for that at the moment. Okay, so we'll see if we can have a quick look, see if there's anything going on in chemistry. Just ignore me, just ignore me. Is that all right? I'm just doing a tour just to show you. Thanks, Alan. So you can see that was akin to a chemistry class where they were just doing a practical experiment. One of the big differences here between studying in the UK and many countries is in the sciences, we teach everything in labs. So everything is very practically focused. Lots of experiments that you have to do for your A-levels or for your GCSEs, and you'll be asked questions about those in the exams, the practical experiments you've done, what you've learned, the methods you put into practice. But also we will do many more here. We have many masterclass lessons, after school lessons, where we do lots and lots more practical experiments, because having those practical activities and practical experience is really, really good for your top universities. They really want to see that. So you can see that's very illustrative of a typical chemistry class. And you probably noticed in the classes we've been in, the average class size is about 10 students. So it's very, very much based on small class teaching, lots of interaction between the teacher and the students, lots of debate, lots of discussion, obviously in the sciences, working in practical experiments either in small groups or as individuals. So that's really, really the focus of what we do here, obviously with really, really excellent, highly qualified teachers. And you can see some of our chemistry team here. You can also see the houses they're in. So Nick, Paul, who's also a housemaster in Zeus House, our technician, Jackie, who also organises all the practical equipment, and Alan, whose class we were just in that chemistry class as well. Our teachers have postgraduate qualifications and higher. Many have PhDs. Chris, for example, whose physics classroom, where they're preparing for the exam, he has a PhD from the University of Cambridge. So what that means is we can teach you GCSE, we can teach you A-level, but also we can extend your knowledge. So we spend a lot of our time with our teachers here looking to extend our students' knowledge, to look at undergraduate level knowledge, to build that broad range of knowledge that students are going to need for the top universities, but also to develop students' passions as well. So we can do a lot of that work, and we do a lot of that through our extracurricular program and also through our university preparation program, which we have here. Okay, we'll see if we can pop into one more class, and then I'll just take some questions, or if you have any questions, you can post. So we've been into 2 science classes. An art class. This is more of a general classroom, just to show you, give you an idea. Hopefully the light should. So this is actually where we teach academic English. So most of our students in one form or another will take English, even if they're not taking it as an academic subject. For our A-level students, for example, they'll take 4 A-level subjects, but they'll also take English for 5 hours a week, unless they come in as native or fluent English speakers already. So these are some of the classes that we would teach English in. And you can see again, small class sizes. Every class has a registration screen. So when students would come in, they would tap their card like that, and it would tell us where the student is in real time. So we have over 99% attendance here. So we're very, very lucky, but we can just pick up any issues. And you probably saw Chris in the other room using the teaching screens a little bit. We can use these with webcams. We can draw on them. We can use them as tablets. We can watch videos on them. So they're really useful tools. And then also we have walls that you can write on. So usually at least 2 walls are writing walls. So what we like to do here is we like to encourage the students to write on the walls, to apply their knowledge, to try and answer questions, rather than just have the teacher stand at the front of the class and ask the class, who knows the answer to this question? You might have 2 students put their hand up and say, me. Another 5 students might think they know, but are a bit scared to answer. We encourage our students, we give them the pens, we go, guys, you work on it over there, you work on it on that wall. Oh, you've got different answers. Can you explain? So we just want them to contextualize, to apply their knowledge. So that's really, really important. And that's what we do here in the classrooms. Excellent. So I've shown you a few classrooms. Actually, why am I flipping across? So we don't really need to do that. We have over 50 classrooms, 12 laboratories in total. Obviously, if I showed you everything, it would take a couple of hours, but hopefully that gave you a good insight into some of the communal areas of the school, where the students eat, also where students live, and the different options that we have. It's a real journey through the boarding houses and also some of the teaching spaces. But like I say, it's small class teaching, lots of interaction with excellent teachers. That's the basis of what we're doing here. And obviously we are a specialist school that teaches international students. So that's what we specialize in. That's our area of expertise. We do have some British students, but not that many. So please do post any questions anyone has, and I will do my best to answer them. I have a few questions that people have posted beforehand that I will try and answer as best I can now, but please do post any if you have any now. And thank you for those of you who have posted as we've gone along. The Q&A function generally tends to be the most popular, but there's also a chat function there. So do post them and they should pop up. But a few of the questions we had beforehand during the pre-registration stage, someone asked me about the Cambridge preparation that we do here. So if a student wants to apply to the University of Cambridge, how we help them with that. So one thing it should be said is it's A-level students generally. You can't apply to Cambridge on a foundation program, and that's universal. So for an A-level student, we will have a specific Cambridge preparation program, which they do. So this sits on top of the A-level program, on top of the standard university preparation program they're doing. So it's an additional set of work that they'll be doing. And that is something that they will apply to do in their first term. So if they are a Cambridge candidate, or if they are keen, they can apply to be considered for this program. It's called the Oxbridge Candidate Program. Not everyone who applies gets on the program. Doesn't mean you can't apply to Cambridge, but we have limited spaces. So there is a selection process. We're not very selective in any other element of the school in terms of our admissions, but for this program, we are selective because it is quite an intense program. It is designed to mirror that environment that they'll receive in Oxbridge. So they will have additional reading tasks. They will be expected to do reading over the summer. There will be regular tutorials and seminars with Oxbridge expert tutors, both from Abbey College Cambridge, and we bring them in from outside. We work with a company called Leading Education, who's one of the most successful companies in terms of preparing students for successful Oxbridge entry. And they'll be doing this extra work alongside their A-level studies, but also the university preparation program we're doing within the college as well. So lots and lots of extra reading, tutorials and seminar sessions, which are designed to mimic the kind of supervisions that you might receive in Oxford. So they're quite intense academic discussions. And then also things like personal statement preparation and interview preparation. So there's a whole other program which students can be considered for, and it gives them the best chance of a place at Cambridge or Oxford. So that's something that if you are looking to apply and you want to go to Cambridge or Oxford, do let us know as you're making the application, and we can give you more information about that. Just going to check, because I think I've had a question or a couple of questions. Okay, I think one of them was one that hopefully I've answered. So I'll put that one live. And then we have one about medicine as well, which I'll answer as well. So let me just close that because I can't see myself. Similar to the preparation program for Oxbridge, we have a medicine preparation program here as well. So we're quite successful, and we are very experienced in preparing international students to study medicine in the UK and overseas as well. So we have a specific program which we developed over the years called our medicine preparation program. Now, students will generally join that program in year 12 for A-levels. Now, if you are a standard A-level student here at Abbey College Cambridge, you'll do 4 A-level subjects. For our medicine students, we do 3. Okay, so it's usually biology, chemistry, and mathematics. With that time, so 5 hours taught time per week, and then extra time in terms of out of class work. Rather than doing an academic subject, we are just doing medicine prep. Okay, so there is a whole medicine preparation program that you'll be doing specifically 5 hours a week to prepare you alongside your A-level program as well. And again, that begins in the January of the first year of year 12. Actually, it's begun now for our students. They've actually started doing quite a lot of work at the moment. It's obviously, I can send you more details about it, about the specific modular breakdown of the work we're doing. But essentially, it's building the knowledge and skills that we need to be a doctor. So understanding things like about the NHS, how that works in the UK, building certain clinical skills, getting more practical experience that's more specific to medicine, because you won't really be doing that within your A-level program. For example, cancer medicine, that won't be covered in A-level biology, but it's something that you need to be aware of, or at least you'll need to develop. We also help our students to gain work experience and volunteering experience, which is key. And then also preparing for any additional academic tests that they'll need to do and interviews. So things like the UCAT or the BMAT, so the UK Clinical Aptitude Test, which is what the universities will ask for you to take and sit, and they will expect a certain score for you to gain entry. So we do a lot of medicine preparation work. We drop one of those A-levels because you only need 3 A-levels to get into medicine. We want you to get 3 A's or A stars, but we're doing all that extra time. We're doing medicine specific preparation. Alongside that, you'll also be doing our medicine pre-degree diploma, which is our standard university course, which all students do in areas like engineering, law, business, pure maths. You'll be doing that, and also extracurricular activities like the medic club and volunteering club, and also things like debate club as well. Anything that kind of helps build your personal speaking skills is really useful for medicine. So we have a specific route for medics, which is very successful. Last year, we had 14 candidates for medicine, 13 got a place, to give you an idea. Okay, I'm just going to check. So for our students, just to give you an answer on the maths one, and I'm not a maths expert. So generally for our students, they would do their maths A-level in the first year of year 12, and then they would move on. If they are maths candidates and very strong at maths, they would do a further maths version in the second year. So they do that preparation. You can take the first kind of maths A-level within your first year. Obviously, every student is different. It depends on the student, but that's quite common here as well. So we can do that. And obviously, having further maths and maths is strict for your application to top universities, but also things like medicine as well. Okay. Oops, just going to check. I've got a few more questions. So for medicine, is it better to get foundation or A-level? So what I would say on that, we here at Abbey College Cambridge have access paths for both A-level and foundation. We would expect a student to start on A-level because the universities generally will want to see a certain level of year 12 or level 3 biology which is covered by the A level. So you need to have that. If you're going on to a one-year foundation program, you need to make sure that you have covered the relevant biology sciences that they're going to ask for, because the foundation is going to be an accelerated program with a lot of preparation work alongside it as well. So for our students, we have the pathway through A level. If students stay on the A level, it offers a wider range of universities. But some of our students do transition onto the medicine. And we work with specific medicine foundation, and we work with specific medical schools here in the UK and overseas. So we have progression agreements with them. So the biggest one probably is University of Central Lancashire, where if students achieve a certain percentage score on the foundation, they can apply and be considered for a place. But we also work with schools in Ireland, so Trinity College Dublin, Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. We work with Aston, we work with Buckingham, Brunel, and we work with universities in the Caribbean, like St George's, Grenada, and some European universities as well. So we have both. Generally, students will come and join us in year 12, just because then we can cover the relevant biology, and then they'll either stay on the A-level program or continue on to the foundation program. And the outcomes, obviously, the key outcome with medicine is a place at medical school. It's so competitive. So it's less about the ranking of the university, more about getting onto that program. So we have both. Okay, I'm just going to answer Emily's question. Emily, we have a very strong computer science program. In terms of the key components here, obviously maths and physics, which are two of our strongest subjects. We're near 90% A star and A for mathematics and further mathematics. And our physics program is also very, very strong as well. This year, we've actually introduced a computer science specific A level. You don't need computer science specifically. In fact, if you want to go to somewhere like Cambridge for computing, you're better off with your maths and your physics. They don't really care about the computer science element, but we've brought that in because we know students have a passion for computer science and want to do maths and physics and computer science alongside that. So the computer science is a new academic provision for us, but we've been running a computer science pre-degree diploma, a university preparation program for our students for a number of years. And we've also been running a number of extracurricular clubs like coding clubs and computing clubs for our students for a number of years. So we offer the A level in computer science. Maths and physics are really going to be your key A levels that you need to kind of do well in as well, especially if you're aiming for a top university. But there's quite a lot of extracurricular preparation around that as well. And we have a computer science pre-degree diploma program, which is just about developing your knowledge in that area, developing a research project. So you're developing an area of interest which you can focus on, and also identifying and targeting universities and making that application for them as well. So we have a really good, strong computer science program. We have a number of students who want to do computing. It's becoming more and more popular every year. In the last 2 years, we've sent students to places like Cambridge for computing as well. So some of the best schools. Manchester as well is a very popular destination for our computer scientists as well. So we're very, very strong in that area. Okay, I'm just going to check. Lots of questions. Okay, so I've got lots of questions. It's really good. Thank you, guys. With the question from Farzad, asking about accommodation for January. At the moment, we don't have any places available in our boarding for January. So if you did apply to study with us in January, you would be on a waiting list. The other alternative is for students to find independent accommodation for that first term. So that's where we're at the moment. But we would be happy to consider you for a waiting list place. And then obviously if a place becomes available, we can make sure you're prioritized into that. But at the moment, we are very full up. We are bringing in more boarding for January, so we may well have some capacity released. So what I would say is keep in touch with us, make your application, and then we can keep you in the loop. The alternative is to come in either as an April start, which we can do because we have some sort of access courses in April, or for a September start. So the answer from Yoke, my son is doing IGCSE this year. Can he enter A-level next year? The simple answer is yes. In terms of our requirements from IGCSE or GCSE, we're not that selective. Although we're academically one of the top performing schools in the country, we are not that selective in terms of our entry requirements. So we're asking for 5 grades at C or above, or 5 and above in the new scale. Also, if you are an international applicant, we would also be expecting to see a level of English, but usually you can demonstrate that through your IGCSE English language. There are no admissions tests. All we would do is an interview. So provided you're hitting those kind of barriers, those kind of markers, we're happy to consider you for a place on our GCSE for our A-level program in September. Okay. So just a question from Sharifa. How strong is Abbey in economics? Again, it's one of our biggest courses. So we have more students studying maths, physics and economics than any other course. We have a very strong economics department. In recent years, we've had quite a lot of students progress to places like Oxbridge, but also LSE is quite popular for our economic students. So we are getting students to those top universities. We have an economics preparation program alongside the economics A-level. Generally, our economics students will study maths as well, just because it complements it well and it makes a good attractive application to the top universities. So we have quite a lot of economics preparation that we can do for you as well, alongside those kind of courses that I talked about earlier. And we have a really, really strong extracurricular economics program. So we have an economic society. We also have clubs like foreign exchange trading clubs, if you're interested in the finance aspect of it as well. Regular guest speakers coming in to speak to us in the evenings. So there's a really strong economics core program here at Abbey College, Cambridge. We have really good relationships with the exam boards as well. So we're able to get some insight from the examiners in terms of some of the topics that might be coming up in the coming exams as well. So we're able to prepare our students really well for that. One of the things we do here across the board is we really push our students to take extracurricular competitions and challenges, because this is a great way to demonstrate that you have a passion for the subject to your university, but also to say, look, I'm going to get A star. Many of the students who apply to you are going to get A star or A's, but look at these additional qualifications they've had. So if you can get a gold in something like the mathematics Olympiad, you can add that to your personal statement, and it makes you a really attractive candidate to those top universities and gives you something you can talk about, which is really, really important. Okay. Can students start online classes for January until you get a room for accommodation? Again, we haven't got any plans to do online at the moment. We do have some online classes as a kind of washover from the COVID years. We haven't got any plans for January, but I would be happy to see it on a case-by-case basis if that's something that we might be able to offer if we still have students learning online. So I'd have to take that offline, if that makes sense, and just ask that question, but I will, and I'll get back to you. Okay. So I think if anyone has any more questions, please post. Thank you. It's great to have lots of questions and lots of engagement. And I think I've pretty much covered most of the questions that came beforehand. We did have a question about what sports we offer. So one of the things I did mention earlier is we have an extracurricular program which has 50 different weekly clubs and activities, and a big part of that is our sports program. So we tend to do sports that our students want to do. So in a traditional British school, you might do things like hockey or cricket. We don't do those because we are the majority international, but we do things like football, basketball, tennis, badminton, volleyball, golf. We even have equestrian club, swimming clubs as well. So there is a range of clubs. And we also have teams. If you look on our Instagram and Facebook, you'll see our football team recently played against a local Cambridge college, one of the colleges of the University of Cambridge. So we have organised teams that take part in regular practices and events. Or if you just want to go and play some tennis on a Saturday, we have a club for that for you as well. Okay. I think that's kind of everything. If everyone's, no one's got any other questions, I think I'll sign off. Thank you for all your questions. Like I say, we'll be in touch with the recording, and obviously we'll follow up on any questions. Please do ask us any questions, but we hope to see you very soon in the college. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.